All right, punters and dribblers, welcome to another episode of All Talk. Big, hot, heavy, horny episode this week. Talking to the one and only Beau Ryan, obviously of former Rugby League footballer fame, but also the host of The Amazing Race on Channel 10. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this. One of the funniest people, I think, going around. He's fucking hilarious. He can tell a story. He can tell a yarn. We loved having him on. We thank him again for his time. Let's get into it.
You are listening to the Hello Sport podcast.
Ryan ATL all over me for that Salim Mehajer shit.
Oh, really? So what, was that just because you were associated with him? Or like?
I was MCing the wedding.
That's right. You MC'd the wedding.
Did you know him personally?
Never.
No.
So I don't really do MC weddings and that anymore. A couple of Lebo weddings, mates' weddings. But I get an email randomly off my manager saying, I've got this gig, good money. Big Lebo wedding, and I like Lebo weddings. And, 600 people or something like that, La Montage. Long story short, I'm filming that day. So I'm driving to the wedding and I get a call from my manager. Pull up into the La Montage. My daughter's young and my wife in the car. I was just going in, doing 20 minutes at the start, welcoming, and the whole wedding was in Arabic. And, mate, there's cops everywhere. There's a helicopter. There's 7. There's 9. And I'm thinking, something's going down here, you know what I mean? Something's happening inside. So I get a call from my manager, Beavis. He's at 80. He goes, mate, what are you doing? I said, I'm just walking in this wedding. He goes, oh, okay, mate, shit. You seen the news? I said, no, what's going on? He goes, oh, there's a lot of shit going on, man, with this wedding. I said, well, I'm here. What do I do? He goes, I'll do it. I said, I'm looking at 2 cops helicopters. Like, you don't see 2 cop helicopters.
No.
Like, the cop, the
One's
Channel
usually
7,
enough.
Channel 7, Channel 9, they're hovering above La Montage. I remember I walk in and they got Missy Higgins is performing.
Fucking
Are you
hell.
Papawati
serious?
security. And they said,
Subtle.
you come out and do the intro on that. And I remember standing there and there's all the, he's groomsmen and they're all affiliated in that one and whatnot, which is, whatever you're into.
Hey.
And they're like, yeah, so we've got to get the motorbikes down the aisle. Because they've got this aisle between the 600. La Montage is a big spot, man.
Yeah, it's huge.
They do half size. I've been to weddings 300 packed.
Yeah.
They've opened the whole thing up. He had $1 million worth of flowers there.
Holy shit.
$1 million.
$1 million worth of flowers. Oh my!
That's the context. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these guys are at the back trying to work out how to get Harleys down the aisles. And I've just looked around, looked at Hopper, and I'm like, what are we doing? And I said, boys, we're going to come out. I'll intro you, bring you all in one by one, and then I'll do a bit of a piece. Now I've got to go. And they're all standing there, and they've got bulky pockets and whatnot. And I said, maybe take that stuff out of your pockets because it's all bulky and not cool. So take it out, put it on the table. I can maybe put that back in your pockets. And anyway, the boys come down there on their Harleys, massive intro. And I just said, Salim's the only groom in history that's taken longer than the bride to get ready. No one laughed, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, crickets. And he's come out and he's not happy.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. He's and did a few spots, did a few jokes and that, and welcomed him, and then just got out of there, man.
So was this for like before the wedding down the aisle, or is this like they're already married afterwards?
No, they had they do a pre-wedding, Lebanese and some of the Arabs, they do a pre-wedding.
Right.
And then, bro, I knew the trouble was he had his wedding, right, which was there, and I don't know if they'd done a little pre-wedding where they eloped or whatever it was, but this was where the ceremony was. But, mate, they had the party the night before, but that it sort of kicked on to the next day, and he lives in Auburn there, and he's built this, he was in council, bro.
Dude, that's
He's doing like 4-story houses. You can't get a double story in the back of Lidcombe and Auburn. He's building a 4-story house, right, on the park. And there's a game of like under 7s footy there. And they've landed a helicopter while the game's on. So everyone's just moved out. And then all his mates have come down and rolled a red carpet to his house.
Oh, my God.
Bro, the council shut the streets down. So every street around there was shut down. Cars moved, everything.
So he shut down the streets?
100%.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all sort of coming back to me now.
Yeah.
100% he shut them down. And then he got done. He was in the harbour tunnel doing burnouts and sticking his fingers up, and I'm just like, man,
In the harbour
you know what I
tunnel?
mean?
As he was a counsellor.
The night of the day of the wedding. So they're in the rolls. They're driving through and doing videos and that,
for
and mate, it
fuck's
just
sake.
blew up.
That was like the
And I was
least
guilty by
subtle-
association, obviously, because I was there. Never
Yeah.
met the bloke.
But so then, I mean, obviously you're like, hey, like I'm just fucking.
I just said, hey, well, I knew nothing. I'm in and out, and that's it. Love job.
What did they start calling him Beau's mate?
Yeah,
Oh, Hadley did a piece and that, you know what I mean? Beau was there,
right.
Missy Higgins was there, Justice Scott. Like, it was all these people were there. There was all these celebrities there.
Bit of a who's who.
A little bit of a who's who, but no one really knew anyone.
Yeah.
And no one knew him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Everyone was getting these ones. And I get that. But let's just get in and get out.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you like walking out of that thing? I guess, and generally, like, were you like, what? Do you have a few of those moments where you're like, what the fuck? What is going on here?
I have heaps of them moments, man. But that was one of them where I walked out. My wife's going, "What's going on?" And I said, "I have no idea."
I seem to remember like the images of like just like supercars, like
Mate,
Lambos
you know what they did?
and shit.
You know what they
everywhere.
did? And you got to salute this. They ordered or organised every white prestige car in Sydney. So it was like 200. There was Rolls, Ferraris, Lambos, every car, and they parked them all in the La Montage as like a flex.
Yeah.
Just said, no one's using it.
What do you reckon he spent on that wedding? Like, if you had
I
to
was trying to
ballpark
do
it.
the numbers, and I know how much people were getting paid there, and I know how much a wedding costs, man. You got 150, 200 a head.
he's
normal
planning one at
weddings.
the moment.
Yeah, weddings, bro. Man.
Yeah.
I reckon it would have cost him about between 3 to 5 million.
Jesus Christ.
And
For a
no one
counsellor?
was flinching.
No.
No one was worried about any money.
What's he doing now? Like, is he, because he got
He's
out?
doing time. No, I think
is
he's
he
still
in?
in. Yeah, I think he's still in.
Yeah,
Why
I
did he
think
go
so.
in?
Yeah.
Huge. I didn't realize that was what became of Salim. Like,
He has sort of, feel like had a bit of a meteoric rise.
yeah.
At least into like the public consciousness, right? Like, this guy came across this flashy counsellor. It was probably all around the wedding. That's probably what.
Mate, the wedding was the kiss of death.
Yeah.
He was a powerful guy. He had a great position. He had a very influential position, but he's obviously, they were looking at him at, approving units where he could only build 20. They're building 600.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was taking the piss. He wasn't being subtle about it.
Yeah. You got to be smarter than that, man.
Yes, you do.
Mate, how are you going? Have you just finished wrapping Amazing Race, or
I
is it now it's
finished,
just gone on TV?
Yeah, no, I finished a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and I've been back, and then I'm right in the middle of like a press tour. Don't know when you're going to air this or whatever, but I'm in the middle of a press tour, which is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Been in Brisbane last week, Goldie, North Queensland, and then Melbourne this week, and then Sydney, and then it's sort of our show's funny, man. It's like we got 20 teams this year, so 40 people, but our contestants don't really get the notoriety of like other shows.
Well, they're not fucking on camera.
Yeah, well, they're not. It's so I do a lot of the press.
Yeah.
Which is hard, like a lot of heavy lifting,
Yeah.
but you got to do it, man.
Yeah, fully. Is it like a dream job? Like, in the sense that you're just getting to travel the world now, right? And to go to these crazy places. Obviously, I assume it's quite taxing and like involved.
No, it is. It's the travel's just a bonus. I don't really think about the travel when I'm doing it. As funny as that seems.
Yeah.
I like the show, and when they offered it to me a few years ago, it was funny, man. When I first come across the town, I did a show for them called Sunday Night Takeaway, which was a huge production, man, like a big production. Did okay anyway. They pitched me a couple shows, and I remember I went into the first meeting, 2 pitches in one day, and I went in and the execs were there, and they started pitching me this show. They said, "Look, I want you to be in this show where basically celebrities are wearing masks and different coverings. And, you might have a baby, a microphone, a dragon, a rhino, and we're going to have hosts, and they're going to judge who the celebrity is."
Yeah. I've heard of it.
And I go, "What's the other show?" Little did I know that The Masked Singer was going to be one of the biggest. It was the most watched premiere in history. It was doing State of Origin numbers its first night.
Really?
1.6 million people before the demos were added up.
Is it still rating its
It
dick
still
off
rates.
now?
It's one of the highest rating shows on TV.
I know you're a Channel 10 affiliate, and we actually just spent a little bit of time on the podcast last week talking about it. But are you like, I guess your initial reaction says a little bit about like maybe how some
Of course.
people, like, what the fuck is that show?
Bro, I'm sitting there. They're going, "It's massive in Korea, massive in the States." And I go, say it again. Say it again. Well,
They're showing you photos and shit.
You dress up. You're the rhino, and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Right? You can be the rhino. I said, "Who's hosting it?" And they couldn't tell me. And I knew Jackie well. And she would have picked me straight away anyway. So I thought, "Do you want me to host it, or do you want me to judge? What are we doing?" They like, "Well, we're going to get celebrities in."
Dressed as Ryan.
And I'm like, "I can't sing." Anyway, I was just about to leave for the race. So they pitched me the race after it, and I accepted it. And they were ringing me about it, and they said, "We really want you to do it." And I said, "You know what, I'll do it." And meanwhile, the only show my daughter's ever wanted me to do, and was you got kids?
No, not yet.
Bro, when you get kids, now nothing else matters, right? The only show she wants me to do is Masked Singer.
Right.
Doesn't care about anything else. So I said, all right, look, I'll do it, man. I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. I'll think about it. Anyway, I go in there, and this bloke, he's a vocal coach, right? He's like, what do you want to sing? I said, I'm singing Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah.
He goes, well, we need something with a bit more range. I said, I can't sing. He goes, all right, give it to me. And I'm like, the fuck am I doing? Like, you know what I mean? I'm in the booth. So I'm like, he goes, when you're ready, 25 people out there, producers. And I'm like, all right, stop, collaborate and listen. And you just see him go like that with the auto-tune, right?
Yeah.
And I just did a Mal Meninga, man. I said, I can't do this. I'm not doing this.
No.
Man. I'm not
You
doing
walked
it.
out?
Yeah, I said, I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not doing
I was
it.
going to say, because I was like, not that I'm super across who's been former contestants.
And bro, it's one of these ones where, mate, they got some big names.
Yeah.
But it's one of them ones where it's super secretive. So say I'm going to do it. You got to drive to somewhere at Moore Park. They get you out of your car. They put you in the back of like a blacked out car to take you in and take you out. You're basically, while they're filming the show, you are off the grid. Do you know what I
Really?
mean? Yeah, because you can't be seen going in, going out. You can't be. You can't be anywhere.
Are people really trying to scout that shit? Like, it's
They
wild
got
to think
paps and
about.
that everywhere. Yeah, it's full on, bro. I mean, we're in rugby league world, right? We don't really look at that, but the reality is, mate, people live for that stuff.
Yeah, fully.
And everyone's got a smartphone.
Yeah,
So
mate,
you
you get the
see
photo.
something
You get the
in there.
photo of Shannon Knoll, or they had the girl from Pussycat Dolls. You get that photo of her at some stage going in there. The show's
Kind of fucked.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
pick up
people
on it.
everywhere trying to suss that, man.
So you didn't sing,
do
you
it,
didn't
man.
get in there.
Couldn't do it, bro.
What was Party just like, fuck it, I'm just going to persevere here. Pick something with heaps of range and just have fun
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it. You know
try
what
it,
I
mate.
mean?
My heart will go
I
on.
told you it hurt last week when I'm sitting down and my daughter goes, geez, I want you to do this show. And I said, Amazing Race is on tomorrow. She goes, what? I said, Amazing Race, the show I'm hosting. She goes, when's the Masked Singer on again?
Yeah,
I said,
right.
next year, darling.
It's tough.
What do you reckon it is about the Masked Singer that it makes it so
Well, it's hitting.
popular?
I mean, look, it's hitting markets. The kids are a big market, people with kids. And they love watching the baby sing or the microphone or whatever it is. And at the end of the day, like, they'll come out and the bloke will sing and they'll guess Usher and Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
I know
That's-
it's not Usher or Justin Bieber.
Harry Styles.
There's just no way. Not an
There's
Australian
no
Masked
way,
Singer.
right? But there could be the tiniest reason why he's in the country, and it might be Usher. But we know it's Millsy or Toadie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Toadie.
But it still could be Bieber.
Yeah.
So we're waiting
But
for that.
it's almost certainly
It does,
Toadie.
it does sound like Usher, but it also does sound like Shannon Knoll. So just give it to him.
Yeah.
So it hooks you like that. And it's, you know what, it's new, it's different.
Yeah.
And it's a big production, man. It's a good, big production value, big show, bro.
Would you ever host something like that? It looks like one of those ones where, as a host, you kind of have to be,
It's more straight down the line.
but like putting it on a bit more, like
Yeah.
because would Andrew G, would he know? Sorry, Osher. Would he know who the people are, or is
No
it like so
idea.
no one actually knows?
No idea. So one of my best mates, Bruno Boucher, who manages Kyle, last season, Kyle was doing they do the season and then they'll bring in a celebrity just to do a random half spot. And he was one of the Paw Patrol characters. So my son wants to watch. So suddenly I'm watching and I sort of know the voice. And he was singing and obviously revealed it. Jackie O was, everyone was pumped. They talked about it. Got a lot of press. Great for the show. Big numbers. But his mistake was wherever he goes, Bruno's going. So Bruno's coming with him wherever he goes, right? You're not allowed, the contract, you can't have anyone with you. I can't have a minder. I can't have you. I can't have my missus, no one, because it's part of the plan. So he brought Bruno with him and Osher saw Bruno put two and two together.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
right. So you can
Yeah.
There you go.
Masked Singer.
Osher is becoming, we were talking about this the other day, he's becoming a bit of an ornament of Australian television.
Osher, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been around for a minute.
He's
hasn't
been around for a bit. What do you reckon he's got? What do you look at a man like him and try to model or take parts of his style and apply them to yourself? Or
It's a good question. I think the longevity is what he's got, right? And if you've got to be in this game, you boys know now it's tough. So he's been in the game for a long time. He was doing Australian Idol many years ago when we grew up watching it.
And Channel V before that.
Channel V. And he was off the grid for a while. He actually auditioned to do, I think it was the first Bachelor, and then he went from there. So he got back in. He had a lot of time. He was out of the game for a while. So I respect him, man. I talked to him a bit. I respect him, and I don't really want to take any of his styles because we're completely different. But I do respect people like him that can hang around, and I respect people that have been around for a long time because I know how brutal the game is.
Yeah. Have you had any brutal shit go on, like in terms of from like the business side of things, like
In terms of what?
well, like since you've sort of been hosting and shit, you seem like once you've retired, like you've had a pretty
Yeah.
you've been able to get like work pretty consistently. Yeah,
Well,
it's been pretty good.
yeah, I mean, I like to work. And to be honest, when I was at 9, I loved it. And then my last couple of years, I sort of was falling out of love with TV. And I was exposed to a few different things. So I started doing some radio and fell in love with that. But when I got the offer to come back to 10, I knew TV is what I wanted to do. You know, you got to try anything really. And I like to work. But I've been pretty unscathed in the fact that I don't really worry about what other people are doing. I mean, in rugby league, when I played footy, my whole life was footy. Grew up in Wollongong, moved out west, then I moved to Cronulla. Places where footy, when people get the paper, they read the back page first. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Everyone's talking footy. But then when I retired and I went to 9 and went into 10, it started to open my eyes that no one really cares about footy.
Yeah,
People in my life care about footy and everyone I know. But in reality, the real world, footy's not everything. And Channel 10 sort of exposed me to that. No one at 10 or 9 are really talking about footy unless you're doing the footy shows and the footy.
Sure.
No one's really hanging their hat on anything that they've done or about to do or the scores of games. So that opened my eyes a lot. And I knew I had to sort of reinvent myself. And I'd already been on panels and done shows, but I wanted to learn the skills to host on my own.
Have you found now that people are less likely to talk to you about footy as like the first maybe in with you because you've been able to build a career outside of it, or is it still like they always hit you up first?
Yeah, I think
about
it's the
footy?
opposite.
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite. I mean, people don't really know me as the footy player.
Yeah.
But they'll come to me with a footy question.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what it's like.
Yeah.
Like every time I see Dr. Chris Brown, man, I get there, he goes, "Whoa, man, what about the Knights?" I go, "Bro, we can talk about something else." Okay, good. How's your family? How's kids? But the Knights are going well.
Yeah, well, they
and
are
then I
well.
start talking about it, and I go, I'm sort of deaf riding a bit, man. And then we'll have a good chat about footy. And he's a passionate guy, but he's someone that he's probably someone I look up to a bit because he's got different styles and techniques.
And he's come from a different industry as well,
come
right?
from a
Like he's
different-
able to like straddle 2 different careers. Is he still a vet?
He's still a vet, but I find I relate to him because he's probably from being from Newey and that, a blue-collar guy. And that's what happens with why footy players get on so well. We all come from nothing really and working-class backgrounds, and everyone can relate to that.
He's also hot as fuck.
He's
Him,
also
he's a
very attractive.
Fucking massive,
Yeah,
tall,
dude. Is he
strong,
tall? He seems
big,
tall as
strong,
shit.
sexy as,
Yeah,
yes.
nice hair, just flowy,
Statuesque.
gorgeous,
Loaded.
statuesque. Yeah,
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
we love that. How much time do you spend honing your hosting craft, your skill set and craft? Like, is that something that you sort of put time away to improve? Do you seek the counsel of others and producers and
Yeah.
that sort of thing?
Yeah, I do. Well, firstly, I put not as much time in it anymore, but the last 2 years I put heaps of time into it. And I think probably the culture when I was at the Footy Show, Fatty never did auto cue. No one did auto cue. You don't do auto cue. So I was like, everyone avoided it.
Yeah.
Right. You don't go near it. Right. Let's just do what we learn. Like let's just say how we feel and wing it.
Yeah, it also allows like things to go wrong probably,
Yeah,
which is kind
which-
of funny.
Looking back, I don't probably think that's the best advice.
Yeah, right.
And I push the opposite to that because obviously doing the Amazing Race, you got to be able to host a camera. It's not live. So you can stuff up and you can take your time, but I feel natural doing it. But at the Footy Show, you're in a panel, you're just giving your opinion and throwing to a piece. It's not until I started doing some live stuff at Studio 10, Channel 10, that with auto cue and that I knew this is an art and you got to learn it. And I'd never done it before. And they said, "Oh, we need you to come in and host the show tomorrow. Amazing Race on. Can you host Studio 10?" I said, "Yeah, sweet, no worries. Come in." Bro, I've never done auto cue, right? So I get there, bro. The first piece, it's like you obviously get the scripts and the links and that.
Yeah.
The day before, I'd seen nothing, and they're like, "All right, we're just going to go." So I'm reading it as it's coming out for the first time, which you don't want to do because you don't want to sound like you're reading.
No, right, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
But even when we read on the potty, we were reading some like statement from some that just recently, and I was just trying to read it out before you got in. And I was like, this is actually fucking difficult to do.
It's a skill, man,
without
and
sounding stupid.
And
almost.
there's no shame in saying I need to be better at this. I messaged Braith the other week. Actually, I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago to say how proud I am of him doing. I mean, he's doing
killing it,
NRL 360, but he's killing it. Different beast, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone can, not anyone, but you can sit on a panel and give your opinion. But when you can drive a show and run an interview, an interview is a different thing. You guys know it. Interviewing in the art of interview on live TV and keeping it. You got people yelling in your ear. You got auto cue. You know, there's moving parts. You know, I encouraged him to learn it, and he was very nervous, and now he's comfortable to do it. Not many guys step outside that realm and try it.
Yeah.
And I think if you can host a camera and also panel and then give your opinion, world's your oyster.
We did something with KO a couple of months ago. We did the boxing, and they were speaking to us through the headsets, and like we were talking, and we just stopped.
Yes, I started talking. We just stopped in the middle of it, and I was just like, "Sorry, I've got people talking in my ear, and I can't.
I can't do both
I
at
can't
once.
do this.
I
They
really
stop talking.
can't.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
do it.
It's an art. Mate, I take the earpiece out a lot
Yeah,
because they got the little ones now, just little micro
yeah,
ones. And I'll take it out unless if I'm not doing an interview and you don't need to hear back what they're saying, you don't really need it because you got the EP, you got people chiming in you. So I'll take it out sometimes and keep it on. But wait, when you got I remember I was doing auto cue 2 years ago, and I was piece the camera, and I was like, it was about COVID. It was real serious.
serious.
I was about to go to, the 11 o'clock Gladys Berejiklians here and whatnot, and the numbers in Australia, bro, I'm like, the auto cue doesn't just go on time. It goes as you speak, right?
Oh, really?
It goes as you speak. So it's not a time thing, and a lot of people feel pressure, right? Oh, shit, what happens if it gets ahead of me? It ain't. It's only as quick as you speak. You pause, it pauses. You talk quick, it goes.
Didn't know that.
Is that someone manually doing that?
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah. You got to have a good relationship with them, man. I remember it started coming down, and I tried to go a bit quick. I was trying to hurry it up, and bro, I'm completely lost. Like I'm gone. Like when you're talking, Gladys Berejiklian, we're going to go to the presser, 11, the numbers 12,000, and bro, I'm gone. Like it's down at the bottom, and I'm gone. Right, I have no idea where I'm at, and I go, stop. The auto cue, I'm just fully out. And I just called out. They go, you can't do that. I said, I've just, the auto cue's too fast. I've just thrown her straight under the bus. And then they've brought it back up and then reset. And people appreciate that. But
were you alive?
Live. Live TV. Breakfast show. I said, sorry, they've gone too quick. Let's bring it back up. Okay, no problem. But I think people appreciate that.
Yeah,
man.
definitely.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to try and make up information.
No, yeah.
You don't want to start making things up.
I'm in quicksand here and I've fucking lost where I am. Bring it back up and I'll try to not rush it, not sound like I'm reading it. I'm just going to read it.
Yeah.
How did you bounce back from that? Were you like sweating like a pig?
Nah, I don't know, man. I'm pretty lucky I can get away with stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't think heaps of people can, but just say, I'm learning it. I'm new. And, she's...
You're you're a funny guy generally, right? So people are gonna be more forgiving.
You can't be on the news doing that, no.
No, exactly. Peter
I don't recommend
Peter
that.
Overton going, oh, fuck.
Not
no,
giving
yeah,
COVID
no.
reports.
Yeah,
No,
but I'll message, like Peter Overton does the news sometimes and something will happen. And I don't know, when you guys know as well, when you're watching and listening to it, you're listening to things in the edit, and there's little things that you'll pick up.
Yeah.
And I find that, man, I'll be watching the news sometimes and I'm watching it like, it's like when Siegfried and Roy, when the tiger, I'm watching it for that moment. Bro, I want to be there, you know what I mean? I'm watching Peter Overton just in case he stuffs it up. I want to be the one watching that live feed when he does.
Or the ones when you can hear their voice go, like they need to cough and they're trying to talk through and then out in Canterbury today.
Yeah.
And like they have to go off camera and like
how good's the recover? Yeah, excuse me. And then straight back into it?
Yeah, straight back into it. That's always hilarious when they fuck that up. I wanted to ask about what's the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. That seems like quite an intense experience as a show. Like in terms of a reality show to do where it's like, yeah, right, I'll go and sit in the goddamn jungle. Were you in Australia for that or were you overseas?
Australia.
Which is probably the small mercy, but then like, how exposed are you to like a snake?
Yeah, well, firstly, it doesn't matter where you are. When you're in the jungle, man, it doesn't matter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Jungle's a jungle.
It's like when you're doing hotel quarantine, right? I've done 6 2-week quarantines. The last one I did was in Athens. And everyone's like, oh, what was it like in Athens? And I did one in Santorini. Doesn't matter where you are. You can be on the moon, man. Yeah. It's actually worse when you got a view. It's actually worse.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. That show, they'd asked me to do it every year. I was at 9 the years before. 1 year they didn't ask me, sorry. And then the last 3 years they've asked me. I was never going to Africa. Never going to Africa. And then we did the Amazing Race 20 20, but it come out 2020, end of 2020. So last year I didn't have a show on TV. So they're like, we need to get you on TV. And I'd seen the show, but I never really watched it. You know what I mean? I'd usually be away in January, and I'm just, don't watch heap of TV. So I agreed to it. And I get up to, it's about 3 hours inland of Byron. Not meant to say that, but it is. Right?
Yeah. Sure.
It's not there anymore. I think they'll go back to Africa.
Yeah.
So I go up there. They said, you got a 2-day quarantine, bro. I do a 2-week quarantine before the show. Just dragged out again.
Oh, my God.
And it was a situation where I got driven up. I had a guy drive me up because you can't be getting airports and that because they know there's people around, man. We don't think there is, but there's perhaps in that around.
Just
people trying to
for it.
suss it. And got me in, all this like camo gear and all that. Left the house in Cabarita.
Yeah.
Put me in like a blacked out car and then drove me for about 2 hours inland. Right? Then they take me out of there. Like I'm talking blacked out.
Yeah.
People coming with like black umbrellas just in case there's drones into another blacked out car that goes off road. I've got no idea where I am.
Do you have a bag on your head?
No, I've got a scarf like that.
Really?
A hat and black sunnies.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm in the back of this van for an hour and I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, man. You know what I mean? Then we get to a place, we shoot the opening scene and same thing, wrap back up, put me in a van, drive me down, and then I get to the jungle. I get out and I put my hands on the back of like a soldier and we're in like a Congo line and we walk for about 40 minutes to the jungle.
Are
Head
you
down.
serious?
They
You
pulled it
walked
off.
40 minutes.
They pulled the scarf off and I'm in the jungle. Couldn't tell you
damn.
where it is.
That's
Couldn't tell you
intense.
exactly the area of where it
Yeah.
is. And it's like it's like a fort, right? So on the outside, it's got all these big timber high fences and covered in foliage, and then you can hear what's going on. It's all lit. So I was thinking it was a set. Like, is it a real jungle? It ain't a jungle, bro. You're in the middle of the jungle,
Okay.
but they've just lit it all up
Yeah, right.
with cameras everywhere. And then went in, and that was it, man.
How long were you in there for?
I left after 3 weeks.
So did you?
Did you say, get me out of here?
Get me out of here.
Oh,
man.
you did?
What was the
it?
trigger?
And there was 4 days left, and I didn't know. I didn't know because they kept saying to me, "You got 6 days left. 6 days left."
to fuck with you?
To just keep me. I think.
Okay, yeah.
To keep me. But when I asked how long was left, they said 6 days. Then 3 days later, they said 6 days again. Bro, I was cooked.
Done.
I was cooked. I can't explain it, man. Like, you got to be prepared for that, right? You got to be. Your body's shocked. The first 4 to 7 days are the hardest, they reckon, because your body's coming off all your sugar and detoxing off everything.
And you're just eating like nothing?
No food. 2,800 calories a day for 14 people.
Right.
Bro, I had 2,800 calories just then.
Well, yeah. At
For
least.
14 people?
14 people.
Oh
Wait,
my,
as in 2,800 across 14 people? Oh, damn.
that is outrageous.
Yes. So for breakfast, we get like a half a cup of oats, like a little of the cup,
Yeah.
and then a full cup of rice for lunch and dinner. But if you eat that full cup, and we don't get dinner, which happened to us, you got no food.
So what, sometimes you're rationing your lunch?
We ration half. So what we do, we'd eat the oats. Then at lunch, we'd eat half the rice. And then I'm just staring at the rice for like 8 hours until we have dinner.
And is there a lot of
and
downtime?
so then for dinner you get
Well,
1.5 cups.
Well, for dinner, you get the other half of the cup. And then they'll bring down Sky Food. So if you get 12 stars, you get 12 portions of food. 14 stars, 14 portions. 6 stars, things. Or like what happened to us one night on like day 3, man. We did this, I haven't told this story, but we did this like classroom test where people had to go up. And you got to remember, bro, you're starving all the time. Picture the hungriest you've ever been in your life. All day, every day for 3 weeks.
Dude, I can't
Like,
imagine.
mate, you go to
I like
some
my
psycho
food.
places. Anyway, when this classroom thing, Chris and Julie come in, you got to do these tests. People were getting shocked while they did it. Fun and games, but I'm starving, man. Right? And they come out and they bring all this fruit out at the start of it. And I go to Joey Essex and Nathan Buckley. I said, what's going on with that fruit? And they hear us talking. They come out and they go, oh, please don't eat the fruit. We're going to spray it with pesticide. Shh, 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 shh. And I go, what's going on with that fruit, Joey? He goes, bro, it's got pesticide. I get spraying pesticide on it. It was hitting me. It's not pesticide. It's water. Let's eat it. So I've gone up, grabbed an apple, thrown it to him. We've all taken a bite. So I've gone up, bite by 1 minute later, we're all up there eating the apples, right? There's all these apples there, some raw eggs, which eggs, you know. There's some flour there because we had a cake challenge. We're just eating flour, bro, like junkies.
Just whatever you can.
You know, I probably had an apple, 2 eggs, some flour. Everyone had it.
Some flour.
But I'm pumped, bro. I'm feeling like food. I'm feeling on top of the world. Like, you know, I've just had Sizzler.
That's so cracky.
We get back to the I was going to say hotel, jungle. I call it Death Pit. Anyway, we get back to the jungle and it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't really know what time it is. Anyway, we're waiting around for food, and the Sky Food would come as it got dark. So we called it Sky Food, Sky Jesus. We called him Sky Food. Come on, we got 12 stars. Sky Food, let's go. Anyway, it looks small. It's like a cowhide, right? And they winch it across. It's thick. It's thick, like the thickest coverage you've ever seen.
Oh, okay.
And on top's like a tarp, like a big tent with a little anus in it that's sort of covering that bit.
Yeah.
But it's thick, bro. You can't see. If you ran into you couldn't see 50 metres. Right? It's thick.
Yeah.
And it's usually in summer, it was cold. We shot it this time last year. Anyway, the Sky Food's coming down and we're dancing, you know, we're pumped. I'm looking at Joey, we're body shot. And like that, you know how your kids get?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Whoa.
Excited.
Anyway, it comes down, it's like real light, right? And he opens it up and it's a letter. And it says, hey, because you guys stole from the classroom, enjoy tonight's dinner. And it was a brick. A brick. So, mate, I started losing the plot, right? I'm laying on the ground and I'm laying next to him and he's trying to work out, Joey he's trying to work out how to eat the brick, right? He's like, well, maybe if we, you know, heat it, mate, a little bit, some stuff will come out of it. Maybe it's like, if we cook it, it will be. I said, bro, it's a brick. We're not going to eat the brick.
This ain't happening.
And then I just
Were they blaming you as like
well,
the
we were all eating it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course they're blaming me,
Yeah.
but we're all eating it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Story of Adam and Eve, mate. You both did it.
Yeah.
So I started losing it, man. And I thought, like, we're laying there and they're like, you're not going to die. I'm going to die.
I'm going to die.
I've had an apple and some oats. I'm going to die. They're like, you're not going to die. But when it starts hitting you that that's the show, that's when it rattles you. That you are being tortured. That's when it hit me.
That you know that it's like they're not going to help you out.
No, it's not a fun show where we're going to go and play games. And this is the show.
This is it.
The show
You're doing what you're doing right now, and that's when you start losing it.
And do you, like, what are you craving the most at that point?
Well, what happens, bro? I took a lot of stuff in, right?
Well, like snuck it in.
Contraband, right?
What, like,
Such
what,
a
like,
fucking like naughty boy from
Well, I'm
school.
thinking,
what, like sugars and shit?
bro. I'm thinking content. So we had two groups of 7 or 8. So there's about 16 of us at the start. I can't remember at the start, but we're in 2 different parts. We have to meet each other in the jungle. And when we get there and did our opening scenes, when we all walked out, and bro, I walked out first. And I didn't even know the next 2 people to come out. You know what I mean? I'm
really?
thinking shit. You know what I mean?
That's actually
Here we
tough,
go.
isn't it? Where you're like,
So I'm here and I'm like, okay. Then I saw Brooke McClymont, who I know, and then I saw Emily Seabohm and a couple others. But my crew had to, and I had a bag of contraband, right? My crew had to get in a kayak and kayak to the jungle. And we're down there and they go, all right, here's your kayaks. Jump in. I go, whoa. Are we going to the jungle now? They go, yeah. And I got my bag in the medic tent, right? So I run back to the tent. They go, what are you doing? I said, I need to talk to the EP. I got some personal stuff. I run back to the medic tent and I grab all my contraband and put it in my pants. I got like long keppers on. Yeah. So I'm jumped out. I got like 5 kilos of coffee. I'm serious. So I'm jamming it in there. I got chicken salt. I got chocolate. I got protein balls. Bro, I'm prepared, right? I got protein balls. I got Chiquito bars. Bro, I'm loaded up. And I walk back down to the banks and everyone's like, what are you doing? I go, nothing. And then one of the cameras goes, bro, you can't do that. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, mate, you're shaking and rattling. And I said, no, I'm not. And I jump in the kayak and the girl, Cal Wilson, who I'm friends with, she was freaking out a bit. I said, just act natural, dance, good content. So we're kayaking. And she goes, Beau, and you got cameras on you, bro. You got 700 cameras on you.
Whoa.
Right, in the jungle. So you got cameras on you all the time. People say to me, oh, how can they say that when the cameras are there? Mate, when you're being followed 24 hours a day, after 2 days, don't forget they're there, but you don't care, right? Because you got to live. And I'm paddling and she taps me. She goes, Beau, look, and my chicken salt is flying down the river. And I go, grab it. And she goes, no. I go, get the chicken salt. Grab the chicken salt. We need it. Anyway, she doesn't grab it. My chocolate balls are floating down. I said, go, just don't lose the coffee, right? So we lose half of that. We get in there. And Nathan Buckley, who I'm like that with, right?
Yeah.
And he's very,
Did you know him before the show?
Never.
Yeah, right.
Very good, very
Good dude.
proud guy, really tough guy, great footballer, but one of the best humans I've ever met. I remember sitting there with him and I go, everyone's sitting around. You got to remember, everyone's talking to the cameras and that. And I'm just like, just get me out of here, man, you know. I sit next to him. I said, so bro, how you feeling? You know, what are you doing? Did you bring anything in? He goes, yeah, I brought my morals, my principles, and my ethics. I said, what about you? I said, bro, I got about 5 kilos of coffee. And he goes, oh, yeah, mate. I said, no worries, mate. By day 2, I'm laying there one night. I feel a tug. He goes, bro, you got that coffee? I said, yeah, let's go. So every morning I would sneak down, and there's cameras on you, but who cares?
Yeah.
And I'd have the heated water, and then I'd have like 5 of the boys around me, just giving them all their little bit of coffee, coming back, and then the others sitting there like this, and we're buzzing. Yeah, I don't know, man, it's good. Oh, we've got to work together. Like we're walking around like junkies.
So they wouldn't come and like the producers and shit wouldn't get you for doing that. They sort of would be, I guess, saying it's good content
Well,
as
about day 4, they said you got to hand over your contraband. So I
Were you
didn't
the
really
only one
know.
with it?
No, everyone had some.
Okay.
Even the David who was in it, he had like makeup and stuff with him. Everyone had different
Was that
contraband.
the dude who was in there who wasn't a
Fake
celebrity
celebrity.
or
That wigged
something?
me out too. So we all, and they said, you've got 2 minutes to hand over your contraband. So I've run to my bag and I'm throwing balls like, and then people just going bang, bang, and you got to eat it all, right? You got 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I throw 90% of my contraband out. I'm keeping the coffee, obviously. A couple of other little things. And everyone went nuts. And then from that day 3, like I said earlier, day 3, 4 to 7, mate, you are low, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're coming off sugar. You don't realise what happens to your body coming off sugar. You go
Well,
into this
I've
shop.
never given my body the chance.
Yeah, I don't think I ever have in my entire life.
No.
We were talking about that the other day, how addictive sugar is.
No
It's like the most addictive thing on the planet, comfortably.
Or heroin, then sugar, I reckon.
Yeah, well,
Nah,
Jesus.
sugar shocks you, man. Like, we're dependent on it. And we don't know that. And, you know, we had people like a couple of smokers, people coming off alcohol.
yeah, right.
Mate, alcohol, you come off alcohol. Everyone's coming down, man. We did like night 3. We did like one of those, you know, those where you hold hands and do those love circles. Bro, we do day 3. We're doing that, telling each other how much we love each other. And there was a couple of moments where I'm thinking, what am I doing? But I felt it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm crashing, man. I'm emotional, and I do love all you guys. I've known you for 40 minutes, but I love you more than anything. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the zone you get in. It's like a rehab.
Yeah, seriously.
When we watch reality TV shows like, you know, Love Island and stuff, Ella's always like, look how real it is. Like, you know, they're crying and shit and everyone's like loving each other and saying they're getting married and have kids. And they come out, it's a bit like, it seems to change. What is it about that environment? Was it the food on your show, or is it just spending all that time with other people, or
I think
the hardship?
I think a show like that one is, I don't think the people are truly who they are on the show, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, if people are together, it's hard to say, but some people are different people when cameras are on. Do you know what I mean? And you can be whoever you want for a couple of days. So I think people might see the real person after that. But, mate, reality TV is brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
I can imagine.
And it's a show. We're making a show, right?
Yeah.
And the only thing that means you win is the ratings. So they'll do whatever it takes. Our show will do it, right? Our show's a little bit different because it's we had 30,000 teams apply for our show, 60,000 people.
Wow.
Right? So you got to be pretty brave to do Love Island, Bachelor, stuff like that, because you know what goes up must come down, and you're exposed to some pretty heavy things. Our show, they don't really get the notoriety. They obviously get the travel, the experience, and you get this great bond with other people, but people don't do it for fame to come on our show.
No, it's actually, the show
It's a
itself
genuine
is
show.
like
Yeah.
It's like a
Enjoy.
game show as opposed to
a fame show.
yes.
That's right.
Well
but
done.
mate, no, reality TV stuff like that, well, they'll use stuff out of context, and you've heard people say that. That's the art.
Yeah.
That's the art.
Yeah.
Art of the edit.
That's the art of the edit, man. You got to be very careful with the edit.
Did you get fucked on the edit ever?
There was one time when we had leftover. What we would do, like I said, we would have half a cup of oats in the morning, which makes your porridge. When we won breakfast, so we had scones and stuff, so we kept our porridge all day. And you're not allowed to keep food overnight because there's rats and possums and animals and stuff.
Did you ever think of killing a possum?
I tried to kill possum.
Did you?
Yeah. Anyway, we had the porridge there, right? We had the porridge there. So one night, we went out and did a challenge, and we come back. And I remember there was leftover porridge, and I'm not going near it, right? As much hungry as I was going to do the right thing. I remember going in and the producers going, go down and have the porridge. And a couple of people said, you can have it. So I walked down, asked the people that are there, yeah, have the porridge. So Joey Essex and I ask everyone, no, and half the group's in the challenge, half's here. So there's about 10 of us. So we're eating the porridge. It's porridge that's been sitting there with no sugar for 20 hours. No one's wanting it. I'm like, bang, bang, bang. Joey and I eat it. We get back. The producers are saying, we stole the porridge. Of course.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So on TV, when it comes to TV, they edit it in like we stole the porridge.
Right. Okay.
Makes the show look great, makes
Yeah.
us look bad, but didn't happen, bro.
And was there blowback from the other contestants and shit? Were they like, what the fuck are you doing? Or
No, because the
they all
contestants were
knew-
there.
Sorry, right. They all knew that you didn't
The
steal it.
contestants were there.
They just edited it to make it look
Yeah.
like, okay.
Contestants were there, man.
Tried to kill a possum.
But court of public opinion, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you look like an arsehole.
Yeah,
How do you...
What's the possum
Yeah,
yarn?
the possum
Well,
yarn.
one day I was starving, and Joey Essex and I we're walking around looking, and there was bush turkeys coming in, and there was a possum that was like, they got these walls around there. They sort of look like a Mount Rushmore, man. It's like a fake wall, but they got cameras in them, and there was a possum in there around it. So we've cornered it, right? Joey Essex and I. And he's like, mate, what is it? I said, it's a possum. He goes, what's that? It's like a koala. I said, nah, it's more like a raccoon sort of situation. It's hard to explain.
It is.
Yeah, but can you eat it? I was like, I think so. He goes, well, let's eat it. I said, all right. Wait, I said, Poe, she was our chef. Poe, what can you do with a possum? And she's like, not much. And I said, oh, don't worry about it. She goes, well, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying I can't do nothing with it. And then we cornered it, and then they've got like a situation where people are on the speakers. Shh, Beau and Joey step away from the possum.
Okay, right. Don't kill the possum.
Yeah, and I'm like, let's get the possum. And then people come down and said, no,
You can't
leave
be-
the possum.
What was going to be your tactic? Just try and rock it? Like, did you have rocks and shit? Try and pelt that at a possum?
No, bro, to be honest with you, I was just thinking about catching it with my hands. Mate, I was in the zone.
Bro, they got claws on them. They'd fuck you
Yeah, but
up.
mate, I was animal style. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
right.
would have. I backed
primal.
myself.
Yeah, it's true, you're a
I
wild
backed
man,
myself against a pot. Like I'm looking at the food chain, right? And I'm looking where the possum is.
Yeah.
And I think I got the
You
possum.
should be able to,
Should
in
be.
theory, beat a possum.
100%.
Well,
You might
mate,
come
it'd
out with some fucking wounds.
It'd
though.
be an
us.
embarrassing L if you lost to a possum. If you're primal.
Two of
and you're
us.
starving.
Yeah.
Two
Two-
alphas.
Yeah, two alphas.
Two alphas versus a possum. I know who's winning that.
You go high, I go low, bro.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Grab by the tail, see how you go.
Just Jesus Christ.
That sounds like a ridiculous experience.
Would you do anything like that again?
No way.
Or
in the
you
world.
tapped out, you're
no
done?
way in the world.
Yeah.
No way in the world, man.
Stick to hosting.
Yeah, I like hosting. I mean, look, I'll do stuff to help the network, and I've always done that, but that show's hard, mate.
Yeah, dude.
You gotta be
How long did you say
prepared.
you were there for?
3 weeks. But the thing is, I enjoyed the experience as in with the people. Like
Yeah.
some of the bonds I've made, I've got lifelong friends, and I went to these hectic places, and you know my kids loved it, and it was it was enjoyable at times. But mate, I know the feelings that I felt, plus the anxiety leaving and copping all the stuff.
Yeah.
It was hard, man.
Yeah,
It was
I
hard.
I get it. It's funny, we were talking about, because you were coming in, we were talking with Dave and Tommy, who are just a bit younger than us, but they were like, for them, you were their first experience of the funny guy on the Footy Show. We're slightly older, so we saw Maddie and obviously Sterlo and Fatty and all them,
Yeah.
like when they were coming through, but you absolutely hold like a massive place in rugby league sort of history, TV history, as being one of the funny guys in the Footy Show. What was that experience like being that? Was it you are funny, so obviously I can see it's natural, but like, how do you, I guess, see that position that you hold?
Well, at the time, it was a bit full on. It was
Yeah?
it was overwhelming. It was, man. I was playing footy at the time, and then got asked to do the Footy Show, and Gary Burns at the time said, Matty just left for all that stuff, and then they come down, they said, oh, look, we got a spot for you if you want to do it. And I said, do what? He said, I heard you're funny, say something funny.
Great.
So I had Hino with me, and I just said, oh, Hino's a piece of shit. Yeah, it's great. You got a job tomorrow. So I went down to Leichhardt, and James, the professor, would come with me, and he said, just do a little piece to camera and do some voxies. I remember I looked at the camera, and the light come on, and I hadn't felt anything like that for a long time. And that, bro, you got to remember, we're playing in front of 50,000 people.
Yeah, yeah.
I hadn't felt a rush like that. And I did the piece, did the voxies, and felt unbelievable. Felt this adrenaline. Watching it back on TV felt great. Like I look back now, it was so shit. Like the worst content. But I loved it.
Yeah. Not all your shit. You talking about everything you did on
Well,
the
the
Footy Show,
first
or-
pieces
right,
and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Gotcha, yeah.
And I loved it, man. I couldn't explain it. Then I started doing the live show. And when you're doing the Footy Show, I don't realise how much experience it gives you. Bro, we've got 300 live people. Do you know what I mean? Live big show. One of the most watched shows on TV. Giving me all this experience for places like, or to get to places like I am now where I've already done all that.
Yeah.
You know, you can do all your acting schools or, studies and education. You ain't going to get live experience like that anywhere, on any show. They don't do it like that anymore. So it gave me a lot of confidence, but it was overwhelming, man. Like going around. I remember once we did especially like Newcastle and Wollongong. Mate, we'd have 10,000 people at the entertainment centre.
Yeah.
We went to Mackay once and we had 10,000 people in Mackay, right? And I'm talking like we're going walking around town. It was like rock star shit. And we got to the entertainment centre and the lady said, this is the quickest we've ever sold a live event ever.
Whoa.
Elton John sold out in 15 minutes. The Footy Show sold out in 13 minutes.
Wow.
hectic.
Better
And
than
that day I was doing Voxies and I signed a girl's arm and she went and got the tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was full on, man.
More full on than the experience of just being a professional footballer. Hey?
Way more
like,
full on.
yeah.
Way more full on.
So you just, after, I guess, starting on the Footy Show, how quickly was it like, oh shit, I'm now like a media personality as well as a footy player?
Probably about 12 months.
Right.
Probably about 12 months. So I started in 09 at the back end and then halfway through, probably 2009, 2010, it just started going bang.
And then it went like it was.
And then it was, mate, I was filming a day a week, live show, sometimes two days a week, going in there learning stuff about, hosting and stuff, sitting in the edit. It was full on.
Did you like it more than footy at a point?
Yeah. I mean, only because I got injured. And the back end of my career, I had no injuries
Was
playing.
it your neck?
Yeah, I had no injuries. And then in 2013, when I did my neck at the back end, I had surgery and I came back and, mate, I was on physio tables 10 hours a week. So it was a lot of effort to get ready for a game and a lot of risk that wasn't worth the reward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fully.
Was it hard to balance, like, from 2009 onwards, your footy and your media career?
It did get hard.
Yeah.
When I went to Cronulla, one of the main reasons, we used to train on Thursday night sometimes, and it'd get to 6:15, and Flannery said, Beau, you got to go. So I would leave training and go and do the live show, and that made it easier.
Yeah.
But there were times when, like, my body, man, flying back from New Zealand, getting back on a Sunday night, we might have Monday morning off. So I got Monday training for Sharks. I'd have to go and film 5 hours of Oxys or something. Like, it was relentless, but...
Was there any, like, did you get cop any shit within the team? Being like, you were Beau Ryan, the TV star, as well as being the player? Or was
I think,
cool?
like, not when I started, because the boys were encouraging, and that was a big thing. Benji and everyone at the Tigers were encouraging, and Sharks was one of the reasons I went there.
Yeah.
Because it was all part of it. And Gal and that, we'd rip into each other, mate. There was nothing off limits, bro. We're into each other about everything.
Did he punch you or you punch him on a Mad Monday?
No, he punched me, yeah. He punched me. We were day 2. We were playing. We played Manly to get into the grand final.
We made the
or
grand
the game
final,
to get into the
obviously.
grand final, and bro, that's when I went low on Tafua and jammed my neck and my arm. And I'm at Gal's day 2 in the pool. There's about 6 of us left, and I remember I had this little. His son Cody was only little, and I had a little one of his little plastic golf clubs. So I'm just walking past, just tee off on his head, and he kept turning around, and then I kept walking, bang, in the head. He's in the pool, and he goes, "Do it again, I'm gonna hit you." And all I remember is, as I'm going to do it, he's just turned around and just gone bang in the cheek, and I'm in the pool. Bro, and my face just like starts blowing up. straight
Oh,
away.
my God.
Just like blowing up, eye closed. I remember I got home and my missus is like, what the fuck's going on? I said, I got cow punched by Galen. I'm pressing charges.
Yeah, fucking hell. Well, it's a bit of a claim to fame now with Gal doing everything he's doing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Getting
yeah.
smacked by Gal.
Yeah.
So back to the Footy Show when you're doing your comedy bits. Are you writing a lot of that shit? I know the professor, he's like been a producer and shit, right? But how involved are you in what's...
Well, he wrote most of it.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff. I really enjoyed the skits more.
Yeah.
And I mean, he would have a lot of a script and then I would bounce off it in the moment. You know what it's like. Obviously, all the Voxy stuff I just do myself, which you can't really script. But he did a lot of the heavy lifting early. And, yeah, we worked really well together. Our hands got a bit tight as we got a bit later in the piece. But we really worked well together.
How long would you spend when you were going out to like Parramatta and shit, taking the piss out of people?
Find dribblers in the streets.
Back then, rule of thumb, right? 1 hour of footage, 1 minute.
1 hour of footage, 1 minute. Okay.
If you want quality stuff.
Yeah.
You want quality stuff, you're doing 1 hour of Voxies for 1 minute. But we'd go out to Parramatta or Bankstown and do 3 hours and get 6 minutes sometimes. Do you know what I mean? But you got to put the work in if you want high quality stuff, yeah.
Yeah. What was the song we've been fucking, because again, you know, doing a bit of like, can we find anything? Your song you had, Where I'm From?
Yeah.
I know that for fucking years, and then we played it, and then we were walking around playing pool, and I was bloody bopping my head and singing.
Yeah. It comes back, mate. It's
does.
crazy.
It all
Like, I don't think
comes
I've heard that song since, 2014 when it came out? And then you play it again, 8 years later, and it just, it's stored somewhere in your brain.
Yeah, it's in there.
Do you think back again on shit like that, where you're just like, it's not like you're still doing, you're still in the business, but you're not doing things like that exactly. Do you look back on that and you're like, what a weird fucking time?
Probably like you said earlier, like some of the stuff, man, like I remember when we brought the song out, we did it all the cities. So we flew to Brizzy, Canberra, Melbourne, you know, around mainly the East Coast to promote the song. Man, I got to Westfields one day in Brizzy and it was packed. So the middle of a Westfields, like where Santa and that is, bro, I'm talking 5,000 people. Like I'm talking, you can't move. In the nosebleeds, like doing signatures and that on a CD and a ball for like 6 hours, man.
Jesus.
Like crazy, man. I can't.
Did you ever perform it? Did you perform it live?
I performed it live on the Footy Show. They didn't want me to. They wanted me to lip sync it.
Yeah, right.
But I did it live a couple of times, and no, the song went nuts, man. The song went nuts.
Was that? How did that even come to be?
I'm good friends with the Hanlon family. Dennis Hanlon is was the boss of Sony, and I knew a lot of the Sony artists and stuff. And they said, I was mucking around rapping and just mucking around one day, and they said, you should come in. And one thing led to another, and they said, look, we'll get some studio time. Do you want to do a song? And I said, well, I can't do the vocals. And then next thing they approached Justice Crew, and I wrote every lyric.
Did you?
Every lyric.
Because I was listening to that, I was like, it's funny.
Yeah, I wrote every lyric, but then it was funny, man. I couldn't get a hook. So it was like, you know, from the area, we're getting all that done.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what's the chorus? Like, it just sounds like a rap.
Yeah.
So we brought this guy in who was like a producer, and he played it. And he did a lot of this. He was brilliant. And then it played, and he's just like, have you ever seen someone put a song together?
No.
Oh, mate, it's an art form. So I was doing the rap over the vocals, you know, before the hook come in. And it was just this big chunk of space. And as the space happened, he just started listening to it, and he just started going, and he's like, put some lyrics to this. So as he's doing that, I'm writing, and he's putting in, it's like, where I'm from, and he just sort of put the song together like that.
Hectic.
Genius.
Yeah. Listen to it once, man. He listened to it once. Then he went in, he said, play it again. And he's like, this is what it needs. He just started putting it together like that.
Interesting. Did you ever think about doing an album?
Yeah.
Going like full art?
Yeah, I did. There was talk about it. I was going to do a song with each person, whether it was Delta, Guy, or the Sony artists. But I didn't have time, man. Like,
it's a lot of work.
That one song, I was working for a month. Like, I was flying around, performing it, going to in-stores, going to all the regionals, Westfields, like every second
Every
day.
Sanity in the country.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
You'd be sick of Sanities now, mate.
Well, plus I was doing a Footy Show. Plus I was doing other stuff for the NRL. It was full on, man. Plus I was playing.
Yeah, dude.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
God.
No, you need to take a breather.
If someone came and knocked you on the shoulder tomorrow and said, mate, back in the booth, would you go back there?
Mate, I think I would eventually, like, as a joke and have some fun, because that song still resonates.
It's still, that's what's funny, is because, like, I was listening to the lyrics, I was like, I couldn't remember them, obviously, but I was like, oh, it's actually a funny
Yeah. Mate, I went out to
song.
the producer who was doing the beat. Now, the producer takes a lot of the a lot of the praise, which they should, right? They're putting the beat together. The beat's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And we went out and we filmed in the studio and we had engineers and that. And he said, I need you to do some pickups out at my house. I said, sweet, where do you live? He said, Punch Bowl. I said, no worries. So I went out to Alice Seal, had some food there and met him at his house, man. Bruh, I've seen it on the news before, man. Like I get there, I walk out the back and he's got this studio that's in like a little, like a shed. Hot as. But he's decked it out into a mad studio. There's like smoke, weed. I can't see, man. And I'm doing the song in there, doing all the pickups. But this bloke looked like the most unlikely character, but he was a genius.
Right.
Genius, bro.
They're the ones who do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking about pickups, how is that like the biggest pain in the ass to do with Amazing Race? Like all your voiceover shit?
Mate, I just come from voiceovers
That's
now.
what I mean. You sent us that photo. I was like,
Mate,
looks like
it's
it could
hard.
be-
It's hard. It's a lot. It's a heavy voice show because you got to explain rules and things that
link
happen.
different parts of his.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Is where
It's
they
look,
are.
it's all part of it.
Yeah.
But I'd never really done it before until I started the race 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's a good skill to learn.
But like, you know, you got to be up and, you know, like you've got to be sort of putting
Mate,
its
after two-
energy into it.
So I've
and
got a
shit.
3 hour limit. It used to be 4, now it's 3.
Yeah, right.
Because after
Calm it
3,
down.
I don't know where I'm going with inflection. Like I have no idea what I'm sounding like. Because they're like, oh, up on inflection, I do it. They go, that was down. I go down, and they go down on inflection. I go, I have no self-awareness where I am. I have no idea what I sound like.
It's not an easy. It's not easy to do at all.
You're actually particularly bad
I'm
at
not good at it. I just can't wrap my head around it. I
You
just
have to do
can't.
it.
I can't get the inflection right
Yeah,
at all.
inflection's
And
the
the
key.
pacing and shit.
Yeah.
We did an ad for that drink you were having, and it
We
was
did.
like we'd been there all fucking day, and we had to go somewhere, and then Eddie just had to do this one thing, which was like the drink to have for you, and you just couldn't get it. We're sitting there, and we're like, oh my
You know
God,
what
this is gonna
works?
And then
fucking
they don't even use me anyway.
well, why?
You know
do
what
reckon?
works?
Exactly.
When you feel most unnatural and the one you don't like is always the best. That's what happens to me. I'm like, I hated that. And they're like, perfect.
Perfect,
And
you
I'm like,
nailed it.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Seriously.
Mate, you have been generous with your time. We will let you go in a moment. I wanted to, a couple of things quickly. We obviously got to work together in the breakfast radio realm of AM, Macquarie Sports Radio, ill-fated as it was. How did you find the experience? Is that the only breakfast radio you'd done sort of consistently, or did you...
Yeah. No, I've done that. That was the most consistent one.
Yeah.
I was doing Kyle and Jackie O when
that's
Kyle was off for a couple of years, probably once a week.
Yeah, right.
Different beast, man.
Yeah.
We had one producer, me and a guy called John Stanley, who was my co-host.
Yes.
Massive Dragons fan. Awesome talkback guy, right? I don't think he needed me as a host, right? He could talk underwater. And there was one morning we'd be on air at 5:30, 5:25. We'd get in there at 4:45, very early, where he was on a rant and he was going. And I said, I'm just going to not talk, right, and see how long. Bro, I went till 6:30 one morning not talking. I was just sitting next to him. He's like, oh, yeah, and the other news, there's a crash on the M4 and the Dragons are going to top 8 chances. Hey, and I'm just nodding. He had no idea I wasn't talking.
An hour and 5 minutes.
I did 1 hour, no chat.
Oh my God.
So I was, I was in trouble early.
Yeah. I went on holidays and then came back and Bo was gone.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You went away for a weekend.
I wrote it out, but you got to understand, man, I come from Kyle and Jack.
100%, mate. 100%. It's a different beast.
And then I had an opportunity to go back, and I was doing full-time footy show as well. Like,
Yeah,
I was leaving.
yeah.
Man, I was walking around like I was on Zannies. I was in there at 4 a.m., 4:30, filming, sometimes doing the late show. Like, mate, the afternoons were a write-off.
Complete right.
You
off.
can't do
mate.
that.
No.
Nah, breakfast hours, salute to anyone doing it.
Yeah, seriously, eh? Just quickly on your footy career before we wrap it, but like, I guess, how do you have any different perspective on it now that you're a while out of the game? Like, do you have any mature reflections on your footy career or anything like that as you've gotten older?
I do miss it.
Yeah.
I really struggled the first couple of years after it because my mind was still there. Just my body failed me. But I'd go down and the Sharks end up winning the comp a couple of years after, and I'd watch them train, and I knew my body couldn't handle what they were doing. Val Holmes come through, different level. But I like going down there. I wish my little man was alive when I played.
Yeah.
Because he's playing footy now. He was born 5 years ago, so he missed me playing by a couple of years. I'd love to be playing. Look, I would.
You'd still, yeah.
I'd love it, yeah.
Right, okay, so it's still there.
It's still there, but I think about how I felt as well in the work that I was doing. And when my body failed me, I remember I played that game against Manly. I went out back to pick up my daughter, and my right arm wasn't working good. And a couple of months later, the McKinnon stuff happened. Ashley Harrison, Johnny Morris, 6 of us retired with neck injuries. Really touch and go. So I don't regret retiring, but I do miss it. I love watching it.
Yeah.
I'm at a stage now where I love watching it.
Sharkies, is that
Mate, to be honest with you, my gut's with Tigers, bro.
Really?
My kids love Sharks. We live in Cronulla. Everyone loves the Sharks, and I love them doing well. And I support them, and I go there and I go for them. But, bro, I still find myself going for the Tigers, man.
Yeah. It's been a tough season, unfortunately.
Bro, it's been a tough 10 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of your old mate Benji and Robbie taking over?
I think I said this the other day. If nothing changes in life, right? We left 10 years ago. We had a pretty successful little run. We didn't win a grand final, but we had a tight-knit crew, top 4 regularly. And when we all left, we went to Cronulla, and we had a great bond there as well. And we were very close. A few changes were made, and then they've gone through coaches quite quickly. Everyone always wants to sack a coach. Always sack a coach, right? You're taking steps forward when you get a coach, but every time you sack a coach, you take another big step back. Because you got to remember, a lot of people are at that club to play for that coach, whether people don't like to admit it or not. Players go there for coaches. That's a fact. So every time they've taken 2 steps forward, the Tigers, they've sacked the coach and taken 3 back. You can see now with Papa'i and Coruscant going there, they wanted to play under Madge. I think he is, if anyone's going to pull them out of where they are, Benji and Robbie can do it. Because you need the recruitment factor. When I went to Cronulla, I met with Flanagan, and I met with a lot of ex-players and people that push the club and a lot of current players. People aren't doing that at the Tigers. You go and meet with the recruitment manager and the coach, that's it. You got to sell the club, man.
Yeah.
You got to sell the brand and what it means to people. And Benji and Robbie do that better than everyone. I don't think Robbie wanted to coach, to be honest with you. I think he's a smart guy, and I think he'll eventually run the club. But I think he's doing the right thing and helping Benji. They're going to have a tough 2 years still. Yeah. They are, but they've got to tread water until Benji's there.
Is it surprising you that Flano hasn't picked up another coaching gig somewhere?
Very surprising. Very surprising.
Like with all the fucking...
Mate, the Cowboys... the Titans job's got to come up. Let's get real. The Knights guy, he's on death row, right? If they don't look at Flanagan, they got rocks in there.
Seems weird, eh?
Yeah, the bloke... He's a guy that played under a couple of coaches, but the guy, Tim Sheens is the smartest coach ever. He taught all the coaches. He coached every coach that's coaching now. He coached all of them, right? Bar 1 or 2. He's the smartest man in rugby league, in my opinion, in terms of being technical and teaching rugby league. But Flano was a people person. And I remember when my daughter had surgery when she was young, I rang him and I said, man, I'm going to miss training. He gave me the week off. Little things like that. I think Bellamy and Bennett are like that. Makes you want to play for him.
Yeah.
I think Benji will have that in him, as smart as he is. I think Sheens is learning that as well. But Shane Flanagan is an awesome coach. And he should be a coach. He should be an NRL coach now. There's Wood Ducks coaching NRL teams.
Yeah.
Right? Guys that have done nothing.
Yeah.
Flanagan's in front of them.
Yeah, seriously.
He's won a comp, for God's
and
sake.
there's no one else. There's not that many good coaches out there. Right? And for him not to be in the mix every time, I don't know why.
Well, everyone's talking about Des going. I'm like, if you're fucking
But don't sack Des. Why sack Des?
I'm like,
It's
Mate,
Matt, like
the
what?
best player, right? The best player in the world isn't playing.
Yeah.
Right? They've had the Manly saga stuff, which is a drama. This jersey thing is an issue. Let's
yes.
get real.
Yes, but it's an issue across the game. Like, you try and get it on any fucking club.
Oh,
that-
yeah,
you'd
yeah.
be
No,
able
I'm
to
not
say-
saying it's – but that's Manly's
No,
issue
no,
right now, and they
absolutely.
made it their issue.
Completely.
But that ain't Dez's fault.
No.
Des is – look, they've switched off.
And we were a sniff away from the 8 until the jersey stuff comes in, and then we obviously fall off a cliff. We've lost.
Mate, they could have won that close to winning the comp last year.
I
If
know.
they didn't start that first half poorly, they would have won the comp.
But then you turn around and then people are going, "I'll get rid of Des." I'm like, for who?
Don't get rid of – exactly right.
Yeah,
You should only get rid of someone if there's someone better, and there's no one better than Des. Not for that club.
love it. I
That's-
like finishing on a
We
positive
got to finish
I
positive.
think that's the way you do
Got
it.
to.
Mate, thank you
Must.
very much for coming in.
Thanks
Appreciate
for your time, bro.
it.
Thank you.
legend,
Hey,
mate.
appreciate you guys. Like what you're doing. It's
Thank
good.
you, mate.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks
eh?
for coming in.
Could you two just not talk anymore?